Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, this is going to be a reading on Steve Bannon. He's been ordered to report to prison starting July 1st. He's got a 4-month sentence that's being upheld for defying a congressional subpoena from the January 6th committee for his testimony involving the insurrection. A federal court of appeals panel last month upheld his contempt of Congress conviction. Bannon's expected to seek a stay at the judge's order, which could delay his surrender date, saying that he's got great lawyers, that they're going to go all the way up to the Supreme Court if they have to. Yeah, I bet he wants to go to the Supreme Court. Then he said, there's not a prison built or jail built that will ever shut me up. They're not jailing you to shut you up. As a matter of fact, if you think about it, Poindexter, they wanted to hear your opinion under oath in front of Congress. How is that shutting you up? Oh, I know why. Because you'd be under oath and you'd have to either tell the truth or plead the fifth. Which is, neither of those things happen when you're on your own little podcast there in your war room. So he's going to try and seek a delay. Let's see if that's really the case. What's the energy around Steve Bannon and this reporting to prison in this appeal that's coming up? Entertainment purposes only. Foundation of the reading is the Wheel of Fortune. And the wheel goes round and round and round. So, you can begin the appeal process. But this is also, you made free will choices and now the free will consequences have shown up. You're trying to delay those free will consequences. Maybe you'll get lucky and get off the wheel. But I don't think you will. I think that this isn't going to work out as well as you might think it's going to work out for you. And that's crossed with the Two of Wands. Yep, this is preparations, getting ready, whether it's the appeal that he's trying to get done or getting ready to go behind bars. That's going to be happening. His world is going to change in a significant way. Underneath it is the Knight of Cups. He's looking for favors from friends. He is desperately looking for favors from friends. Trump is in there saying that, it's a shame that the criminalized Justice Department's trying to shut up and shut down Steve Bannon. It's just more projection from the Republicans on there. What's happening? He's facing a major life event. It's something that he's done to himself, and it's on his doorstep, and he's trying to avoid it at all costs. Calling in favors. In the past is the Fool card. There's not one little bit of Steve Bannon that I consider to be a fool. As in, like an idiot or, he's not the village idiot. He really isn't. He knows what he's doing. He knows on his podcast, and on the media, he can spew out as much lies and BS as he wants to. In a court of law, he has to tell the truth. And he doesn't want to, because that would get in the way of him making money. Mind you, he still has the Build the Wall case coming up, and that got postponed several months because of the Trump trial, and probably because his butt needs to report into prison July 1st, which he's trying to avoid. Which is funny, if he actually does end up going on July 1st, he comes out on November 1st, just a few days before the election. So any delays that he makes could impact his ability to speak or not speak during the summer leading up to the election. And I think he wants to be around for that. Trump certainly wants him around for that. Current situation is the nightmare. Well, all the talk and bravado from him, I think, is just that. It's talk and bravado. Okay, the Fool card. He was a fool for not going in front of Congress and testifying. He purposely did not do that, because he felt he would not be held to account, especially with the GOP coming into power. But that didn't happen. And the court cases came and he lost. He lost his appeal. And, just like Trump, he talks all tough, but inside is a gentle, tender little snowflake who's a little bit scared of what might happen to him in prison life. Now, I think, maybe he should talk to Peter Navarro. Peter Navarro is an old hand in prison. I think these days they can get together and discuss the Green Bay sweep or something like that in there. You know what I mean? But they're not exactly going to a high security prison. Not for this. The overarching energy is the heartbreak and the betrayal. He's asking for help. I forgot if I flipped this card or not. Underneath this Knight of Cups, he's looking for as much help as he can get. He is calling in favors. The Three of Swords here is that heartbreak and betrayal. Nobody's answering. Nobody is stepping up. The appeals courts aren't going to I don't think the appeals courts are going to step up. He may have lawyers, but he's got to pay for those lawyers. And his legal nightmares have only just begun. Because he actually betrayed MAGA folks, too. So him grifting off of people that want the wall built aren't going to be exactly answered here. The lesson to be learned, he has been trying to project strength as he reaches out for these favors. But there's a lot of anxiety and not a lot of help coming. The cavalry is not here. And I don't think the cavalry is going to show up. Outcome is the Three of Cups. Celebration, or the lack of celebration. He could appeal it 3 times. He could to get up to the Supreme Court. Maybe he can get this thing delayed. But he will not avoid prison time on this. What's he going to appeal on? It was a legitimate congressional committee serving a subpoena. There's no winning for him here. There's losing. There's lots of losing. If he gets lucky, he can appeal it one more time to the Federal Appeals Court. Supreme Court's not going to take this. What are they going to rule on? Where's the precedent? Where's the interest in the case? You defied a congressional subpoena. Next time Congress calls you, show up and testify. Bring your lawyer, take an oath, testify truthfully under the oath, or plead the fifth if your testimony would implicate you in a crime. It's pretty basic. That's about as basic as it gets. Yeah, I don't think the Supreme Court's taking this, nor do I see an appeals court taking this. I see Steve Bannon getting to serve his 4 months in prison. Maybe he only has to serve 3 months of it. I don't know how that works. I know that you have generally with federal cases you have to serve like 80% of it or so. So we'll see. The energy right now is that he might get one more stay. But he's definitely going to prison. That's my vibe on it. But let's ask: will Steve Bannon get another appeal? Will he get the next court of appeals to stay his prison sentence? We got the Nine of Cups. Hopes, wishes, dreams fulfilled. Judge, jury, appeals court, Supreme Court. What do we got? Crossed with the Empress. And the Queen of Cups. What do we have with you? Not sure what to make of that. This could be his hopes that he thinks he's got this. It's almost like he feels like he's got this in the bag, which is why he's trying to present so much bravado. You know, I know the courts will protect me. I got friends in high places. I don't have to worry, even though he's secretly worrying. But there's something on the down low down here, too. Let's see where this takes us. In the past, we got the victory card. Oh, could this be the judge? Let's see. We got the victory card here. There's the celebration. There's the quick messaging. There's the anxiety again. And there's the temperance card. I don't think... to me, this isn't okay. This is why it's not making sense. I think this is the judge. This is like the January 6th committee with their subpoena. and Steve Bannon couldn't be bothered to show up for it. He's just acting all entitled. And so, he had the short-term victory because he didn't show up. He didn't have to testify in front of the committee. The committee, basically criminal charges were brought. Those criminal charges are won. He's messaging right now. He's trying to do things quickly because jail is rapidly approaching here, and he's trying to get help. He's stressing out because he's still not getting that help, and he's looking for that delay, that temperance. He's looking for somebody. He's looking for somebody to help him get a stay. I don't know if a woman's going to help him, or he could just be. To me, this could also be just him cooling his heels in prison. Okay, let's. This is not. He's still stressing out. He's looking for relief from this, which is the same thing I just read on, but it's just giving me a different flavor. That there's this. The reason why folks aren't answering him is that he's coming across as very entitled, and with that Queen of Cups, I think there's some distancing. They don't want to be emotionally. They don't want to be close to him because he's kind of toxic or radioactive right now. It'd be better, in some ways, it would be better if he just went to prison and did his prison sentence, rather than try and drag in some allies who aren't going to have a really good way to explain why it is that Steve Bannon shouldn't be in prison. By the way, it's been coming on 600 days since Jim Jordan hasn't answered his congressional subpoena? Be nice to hold him accountable to that too, huh? Okay. Let's just ask flat out, will Steve Bannon be reporting to jail on July 1st? A little more. Will Steve Bannon be reporting to jail on July 1st? Let's see. The double card. Well, there was a card that was going to represent incarceration. Let's see. He's asking. There's him asking for favors. They're trying to get Trump to help him, I guess. Manifesting. Trying to get that help to get him out of a bad situation. Queen of Swords. No, I don't think he is. I don't think he's going to get out of it. Foundation of this little 4-card reading here is the double. Is he going to get out of it? The double card's a no card. He's the one that didn't show up. He's the one who voluntarily chained himself. And this is also the whole January 6th thing here too. He had a bigger role in the January 6th thing, which is why the January 6th committee wanted to talk to him. So, he got called before the subpoena. They knew his role in it. He's trying to call favors from friends to get him out of trouble. Is there something you could do to delay this, reduce this? But underneath the Queen of Swords, it's you did what you did, and you're going to pay the price for it. It's just as simple as that. Did you literally? This is why the appeals court won't take the case, because you voluntarily chose not to show up in front of Congress. A valid congressional subpoena was delivered to you. It was delivered to you. You tried to avoid it, that your testimony would have been valuable. You chose not to go. You're going to do the crime. Right now, as the energy stands, there's a lot going on with it, but I think he will end up reporting on July 1st. I just don't think the appeals courts are going to take it. And if I heard correctly from one of the... from one of this, let's see if this hyperlink here takes me to it. They wholeheartedly said that he was guilty of this. Let's see, hang on for a second. So I read this. Okay, yeah, I didn't see it on that article, but yeah, I think I heard that from the appeals court. They just said, yeah, no, this isn't working. So, Mr. Bannon gets to go to prison. How will prison impact Steve Bannon? How will 3 to 4 months in prison impact Steve Bannon? And then, mind you, by the time he's out of prison, then he gets to go to trial for the build the wall fraud case in New York. How will prison impact Steve Bannon? We'll do a bigger reading on that one. The Hermit. Well, he's going to find out some things, or he's going to be retreating. Let's see what the cross is. Okay, we've got the 7 of Cups here. And the 6 of Cups. It's going to be an emotional time for Mr. Bannon. Now, mind you, the reason why he didn't show up for the January 6th committee hearing was he was trying to argue that Trump still had executive privilege, which he didn't. It's just BS. What do we have here? I think what we're going to find here, it's not so much what he learns in prison. It's one less person spreading lies and misinformation to the naive people in this world. While he's in prison, he's silenced. Remember, that whole part of that article said, nobody can shut me up. In other words, his voice and his words and his broadcasting are his power. Now, if he's incarcerated, he doesn't get to do that stuff. His show goes dark for 3 to 4 months. And it's that 3 to 4 months leading up to the election, which is why he's so desperately trying to stay out of it, because what he wants is Trump to get reelected, and then a new attorney general comes in and dismisses the charges, so he doesn't have to serve, or Trump pardons him because it's a federal crime here. But I think what we're going to see is while he's in prison, there's nobody leading the charge of misinformation on his program, and again, the viewers that listen to him and trust him implicitly aren't going to be fed a steady stream of lies. In the past, you got the 8 of Coins. He's been making this. I was about to say he's been making his money on this podcast, but he's also got this other case, the Build the Wall case, that's going to be in there. Ooh, this is going to give him a taste of what's going to happen to him when that Build the Wall case comes up. Oh dear, I don't think Mr. Bannon's going to like prison very much. I don't think prison life is going to suit him well. At least he doesn't think it's going to suit him well. Knight of Swords. Okay, so what's going to happen when he's in prison? How is he going to change? That impulsiveness. He can't wait to get out. And it's almost like if he is incarcerated on July 1st, he gets out just in time for the election to come out. And is he going to charge forward trying to spew nonsense again? The Sun, the truth is out. He's got choices to make. He's got some real choices to make here. If he's in prison and he finds his way and finds his integrity, and I know, try not to spit your coffee all over your computer screen as I say that, he's going to see that, that if he continues down the path he was continuing down, he's going to be spending more time in prison. Quickly, too. Because I think by the time he gets out, there's a lot of truth that's been exposed. And there's not much room for Steve Bannon's lies and his stories by the time he's out. This could also be Bannon going back on that boat that yacht in international waters so that he couldn't be arrested like he did the first time. But I think also he's got that other court case coming up, and he may not be able to escape that one. It's almost like he gets out of prison for a spell, but yeah, he's out of prison for a spell, but then he's immediately having to defend himself. Honestly, I think he's going to get out of prison and nothing is going to change for him. He is 70 years old, and he is who he is at this point. Prison life will give him the opportunity for self-reflection and, really think about the truth. But I don't see Steve Bannon doing that. What I see Steve Bannon doing is going back and doing his same old, same old. So I could be wrong. Maybe he'll see the light, but who here is going to bet against me on this one? Because if you think that Steve Bannon's going to come out and suddenly have found Jesus and some morals and ethics after a 4-month stay in prison, I don't think so. It's just, no, I don't think so. What's the lesson to be learned? Little four-carter, what's the lesson to be learned for Bannon out of all of this? Or what should he have learned in his 4 months in prison? It looks like if his 4 months in prison should have been spent in self-reflection and, you know, owning his behaviors and trying to make amends for it. Kind of like, you know, going on a Michael Cohen redemption tour. But I think with Steve Bannon, I just get that 4 months in prison isn't enough to get him to do that. And he wouldn't do it anyways. But let's see what the lesson was supposed to be learned from Steve Bannon by all this. The Magician. You create your own reality. You manifested this. Power of manifestation. Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Cups. And the Walking Away card. 8 of Cups. Underneath is the Page of Pentacles. He's the source of all his problems and all his solutions. If he had gone forward as an honest steward, representing himself, he was a soldier. He was a mercenary soldier. He didn't, I guess in the end, Bannon wanted money, and he went about getting money the wrong way. And it's like this path that he's on, this incarceration is supposed to wake him up and show him his values have eroded, and he needs to get back to a more authentic self. He needs to leave this world he's created behind. But the thing is, he likes the power and he likes the wealth and influence on it. He's been basically with that, like that double card that we had earlier. He's been seduced by the dark side. Come on. Thank you, auto exposure. It's like he's been seduced by wealth and power. And the incarceration time was supposed to, help him hit rock bottom, as it were. All your wealth and power didn't do you any good. You're in prison, just like everybody else around here. Again, he's former military. He's used to having to go in there and conform and stuff like that. But I think in this case it's a little bit different because you're never going to be in charge. In this one, you're always at the bottom of the pecking order. Well, for his soul, he should be. I hope he learns a new trick. I don't see it happening. We'll leave it here. Thank you very much for supporting my channel. I appreciate it. If you like this video, check out Twin Tarot with Gary and David. It's another channel that I have with my identical twin brother Gary, where we go over news like this and add all sorts of fun, snarky comments and a lot of laughter. If you're more interested in international news, check out Tarot of the Seven Seas. It's a YouTube channel I started just to focus on international news, mostly in Europe. Okay? Thank you for supporting this channel. I really do appreciate it, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.